Why budgeting won't work. Why budgeting can't work. See, when you budget, you'll go broke. Now, stay with me. Let me repeat that. Not bankrupt, but broke. See, if you never enjoy or spend your money, if you're using too much energy trying to save money on things that you buy, it's going to destroy your value. It's going to rob you of your time. There's a much easier way, a more effective way, plus a way where you can enjoy more of your life along the way. So again, budgeting can prevent you from going bankrupt, definitely, but scrimping and saving, that's never going to lead to wealth. Financial gurus, they're often missing the boat. They either assume you aren't smart enough to build wealth or they don't know how to build wealth in any other way than selling you on something they make money on. See, budgeting will not only crush your finances, but also crush your spirit and drown out any room for fun. Unless you have that jar or that envelope or program with a little stashed away perfectly lined up when you can spend it. Okay, I'm joking, but you get the picture. When I was a devoted budgeter, my wife hated me. Hell, I hated myself because I kind of hated my life. It was consumed with thoughts of when to spend, when not to spend, ways to cut back, ways to do less of, how to avoid spending. You get the picture. I'd like to tell you about our first vacation that I took canned food on, or the fact that we didn't really go anywhere for quite a while, or if we did, we had too many layovers to get there. So, look, my wife and I, when we were first married, we would fight over the checkbook when it wasn't perfectly balancing. Now, kids, those are things we used to use to pay bills. You'd have a ledger, you'd write the check number, you subtract the amount for what was purchased, and then record the deposits as well. Then I'd look it over to see what we didn't need to spend money on. Fun. I was great at saving money, but that was limiting my ability to earn it. My mind was too obsessed with saving over creating, reduction over production, and living a mediocre lifestyle today for the hope of a better future. Thankfully, this was back in the early 2000s. Now, don't get me wrong. Look, saving for the future is absolutely key. That's why I'm going to help you to do it more simply, more elegantly, without the fights or fretting over every cent spent. Instead, let's find money. Let's put it in your pocket. Create some automation, simplify, and most importantly, expand, add value, produce, and set your mind free. The wealthy aren't wealthy because they're good budgeters. They build businesses. They learn to invest, not in a diversified portfolio either. And they look to create more reach and impact without breaking the bank with taxes. Efficiency and expansion rather than trying to shrink their way to wealth. No one shrinks their way to wealth. Instead, let me give you this formula. The first thing is to pay yourself first. This isn't about budgeting, it's about wealth capture. Now, maybe this is once a week, maybe this is every other week. It's about checking to see if you're on track. And you look at 4 types of expenses that you look at all your expenses, right? You say, number 1, is it a destructive expense? You should get rid of those, right? Borrowing to consume is destructive. Heroin, probably always destructive. Number 2, a lifestyle expense. Is it something that's utilities and clothes and mortgages, like the things that help you to have a normal lifestyle or whatever your lifestyle is? Just do all you can to pay cash for that. That might not be totally available for buying a home or buying a car. So those might be a little bit of exceptions to rules. I mean, cars typically depreciate. We've had a time recently where some of them appreciated due to demand and kind of limited supply. Homes often appreciate, but neither of those cash flow very often unless you use the Turo app for your car or, VRBO or Airbnb for your home, which some people do. But just realize this isn't your biggest portfolio asset. It's merely a lifestyle asset. And you might have to borrow for those, but don't borrow to consume. Don't put something on a credit card, go on a trip, and then you don't have the money to pay that off. The third type of expense is a protective expense. Education, so you have more knowledge, like what you're doing here. Asset protection, which could be estate planning or corporate structures if you own a business, or even specialty trusts. It could be insurance, so you have ways to transfer your risk. I think the really wealthy people are good at transferring risk and the protection expense. And a lot of the middle class just feel like there's enough money for it, or it feels just like a wasted expense, but often end up starting over or having something devastating to them. So understanding and managing those are really important. And the fourth one, and this is the game changer, is a productive expense. You put in $1, more than $1 comes out. Don't budget that. Put more and more in as long as it continues to build wealth and you can manage it. I call this mindful cash management over budgeting. Wealth capture means every week or every other week, you're looking at your expenses and then you're automatically paying yourself first. Pay yourself first. Take a percentage, and every time you make a deposit at the bank, have it automatically go to a wealth capture account. That could still be a checking, a money market, or a savings account, but take something off the top and live off the rest, and then manage the 4 types of expenses. Now, you can get to a place of wealth creation. That's where you take these savings accounts or money markets that are earning hardly any interest, that are taxable, that aren't doing much for you, and you integrate cash flow banking. Cash flow banking is where you can take overfunded cash value insurance and you can boost the returns that you would get on your savings account with tax advantages and multiple benefits and access the money along the way before 59.5, unlike IRAs or 401ks or those types of plans. I've got a lot of videos on that can help you with cash flow banking. If you want one-on-one support, you can go to swf.gg and you can talk to someone for free as a way to understand this. And obviously, if you do something with them, they'll make a commission. Now, the last thing here on this first part is a living wealthy account. Look, if you have a wealth capture account, you pay yourself first. If you turn that to wealth creation, where you start moving that over to cash flow banking and overfunded insurance, then living wealthy account is take a percentage that is for you to enjoy, right? If you're saving and doing the right things, have some money that's just, what do you love in life? What would you like to indulge in so that you can enjoy life and live wealthy along the way? I've seen people that have a ton of money that don't live very wealthy because they still have this mindset of scrimping and saving every dollar they earn, and convincing them and helping them to start spending a little bit of that help to open them up, because you got to see yourself as valuable. You got to see yourself as enjoying life along the way. You got to look at it like creating a life you don't want to retire from. Now, how do you find money to start paying yourself first if the bills are so tight you don't have anything left over? Well, this is about plugging financial leaks, and there's 4 I's, the letter I, not eyeballs, but letter I, to efficiency. Number 1 is the IRS. I know that we have people watching all over the world, so whatever your tax service is. Number 2 is interest. That's the second I. Number 3 is investment, and number 4 is insurance. So we have videos right here that you can go and explore on this channel that give you all the strategies that you could ever imagine on how to keep more of what you make by paying the government less. We have videos on how to lower your interest rates and make sure you're keeping more there, or how you can start to detecting hidden fees or commissions with your investments, or how to protect the downside, or the insurance, how to avoid duplicate coverages or improper structure. See, these are the key. So the first thing was pay yourself first. We talked about the 4 expenses. We talked about wealth capture, wealth creation, living wealthy. The second is to plug financial leaks and watch other videos to find out how to do that with the IRS, interest, investments, or insurance, so you keep more of what you make without having to cut back or budget. And the third is invest back into yourself, your skill sets, your financial education, knowledge, and literacy, in your abilities, in the collaboration with the team and the process and structures that you have. Look for ways that you could add more value by reaching more people, or more deeply impacting the people you reach, because dollars follow value. So if you start to understand and expose your value to the world in a way that serves others and solve problems, you're going to be wealthier. And then 4th, invest in quality of life along the way. Enjoy your life, because you are your greatest asset, not a stock, bond, or piece of real estate. Invest in yourself and invest in your quality of life so you have more energy, more enjoyment, and more fulfillment, not just one day, someday at retirement. So the reality is, living within your means is great advice, but budgeting is only one way to live within your means. Instead, I want you to focus on efficiency, keeping more of what you make, and expansion, adding more value in the world. Efficiency and expansion. Budgeting, we can get rid of if you just pay yourself first, look at the different types of expenses, and don't spend more than you make. If you're struggling to do that right now, let's find where you can be more efficient. Now, I wrote a book on this called Budgeting Sucks. And if you go to garrettgunderson.com/budget, you can grab this book for like $2.95 and even the audio book for a penny more. So this isn't going to break your budget or break the bank, but it's going to break you free from budgeting by showing you the very things you can do to keep more of what you make. If you want better ways to handle your finances rather than scrimping and sacrificing, or you want to find ways to plug your leaks, click the link and continue the journey on this YouTube channel.